from different parts of the world. This is a great resource for ICs to gather information, marketing information, latest news coming from Google, Google Trends. So, when you have a chance and you are looking for information, whether you can't find it on the Google Trends in K2, you can definitely come here and find great tidbits of information. Most of the advertising research is done in collaboration with Google and a company, so they've been featuring Adidas, Coca-Cola. So it's a lot of information that you guys can preview to if you just go to thinkwithgoogle.com. And I wanted to share that. Perhaps we'll spend more time on it in the next few weeks as webinars just talking about it. But it's a great tool for any IC who's looking for additional information in regards to different trends that are happening on Google. So let me just go back to my my presentation here, our webinar. Give me a quick second. Okay. So moving on with Google, definitely something that happened this week for those ICs that love to manage their Google AdWords. There are some ICs that definitely enjoy actually managing Google AdWords account. There's a new tool that came out from Google. Surprisingly enough, it's a very neat tool. Basically, now you can look at new work account query dimension in analytics. If you have your Google AdWords properly set up with your analytics, you can actually compare the short and long tail queries that are happening. In the past, basically what one had to do in order to find out, you would actually have to create a spreadsheet, download it via Excel, then clean it up. But now Google actually has made it very easy for you to just look at the type of searches that are happening based on the number of words in the queries. So if you just, let me just share with you what this means. And it's also a good tool for SEO. Let me just, so I'm going to share my screen in a second here. So this is one of our clients that actually has both an SEO and an AdWords campaign. So if you were to log into your Google Analytics, right, and you were to scroll down and look for acquisition, and under acquisition you will see AdWords. Okay, so once you see AdWords, you click on AdWords, and then you go to search queries. Okay, you will then be able to start seeing some keywords, but and you can have match search query, which pretty much tells you all the searches that are happening and clicks, right? But if you go to query word count, this is a new tool. It pretty much tells you what people are searching based on the word count. So, for example, there seems to be for this specific client, Mayhew, there seems to be 94 sessions that are happening with 3-word queries. So if you click on it, it actually tells you those those type of 3-word queries that are happening: home office, office furniture, Steelcase Sleep Canada. So this research is pretty good for you if you are looking at cleaning up some of your Google AdWords and trying to determine better keywords for your AdWords account, as well as your SEO. You can definitely come here and by using this tool, trying to identify what are some of those positive Google AdWords keywords that you can transfer into your SEO strategy. So again, it's a very simple tool, but definitely, like I said, it does allow you to do things faster. In the old times, it was a little bit, like I said, it was a little bit tougher to do because you had to download the information via Excel, clean it up, and come up with this. So now Google has added this to Google Analytics. Again, in order for this to happen, you have to have your Google Analytics and AdWords linked together. Okay, so again, if anybody has any questions, I mean, I can definitely send you the link to the to the article where it talks a little bit about it, and it's a very simple tool, a simple way of streamlining your information and gathering information as well for your AdWords campaigns as well as SEO. So that's from Google. One of the things, tidbits of information I want to also add, as you noticed, Google came out with their profit report a few weeks, actually about a week ago, and they also showed some reasonable profits, specifically in their advertising. So hopefully next week I'll be able to share a little bit more information about those news. The report just came out, I believe, mid last week, and due to the fact that we don't always want to talk about Google in our webinar, we want to be agnostic to the different search engines. I did want to share that they came up with a pretty good business report where they were showing some strong numbers in profitability, and actually pretty much giving credit to their advertising sales. So their sales on Google via Google AdWords and the different advertising venues they have. So anyhow, that's this week for Google, I guess. And if you just give me a quick second, I'm going to move to the next slide. This one is also an interesting report. I talked about it a few weeks back in regards to, well, actually Vinish talked about it last year in regards to Firefox deal with Yahoo. Basically, right now, Yahoo is the default search engine on the Firefox browser. And there was a lot of talk about it, what was it going to affect Yahoo's dominance in the usability or search share. And actually, a report just came out this week by ComScore, and you can start seeing that there are some trends that are happening, very small percentages. And the reason we bring this news to you is just for you to keep an eye on. If you were to look at November, Yahoo sites had gone, 10.2. If you recall, back in September, October, they had gone below 10% of the search shares in the U.S. Okay, and now they moved to 10.2, and in December they actually moved to 11.8, taking a little bit of search share from Google. I mean, Google back in November was a 67%, and this was a 65, and then it kind of dropped down to 65% in December. Why is this important? Well, I will tell you that just having a 1 or 2% or 0.5% share increase in the U.S. market equates to millions of users. So this was very interesting that Firefox deal with Yahoo has yield some positive results in these past few months. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share another slide that's very crucial to this, or tied to this. Just 1 second here. Okay, here where you actually they compare basically the U.S. search share, and on my left hand you will see that you have all of the search share excluding Firefox users. So if you were to take all the individuals that use Firefox to browse on to browse the internet, these are the results, right? So you have Google obviously at 76.5 in January 2015. 76.4 in December, and so on. So, and you look at Yahoo, that they're very, as a matter of fact, they actually decrease. They're actually going down. That's excluding Firefox users. Once you add the Firefox users, it's a little bit of a different story, because now you see that the overall U.S. search share, including Firefox users, has seen some changes. Look, Google now is at 74.8. versus Yahoo that's at 10.9, and you can start seeing that there's a little bit of a decrease happening here from Google and Yahoo. So again, interestingly to note that there are some possibilities and some opportunities happening in Yahoo. So as you are building your or you've launched your digital marketing campaigns for your clients for 2015 already, keep your eye on this. Doesn't mean that you should start advertising on Yahoo right away, but there are some opportunities happening there specifically for those type of companies where their target audience are being in Yahoo. Okay, so more to come in the next few weeks about that. We'll keep an eye on that so that we can share more information in regards to that. And this was brought by StatCounter Global Stats. So again, a very interesting piece of news there in regards to the Firefox deal that is boosting Yahoo's U.S. search share, U.S. search shares. Okay, so let me move to the next slide here. Excellent. So a little bit of comedy, I guess, and I wanted to share with you an interesting article that was published on Search Engine Land. It's called The 5 SEO Myths to Forget in 2015. As you know, 2013, 2014, a lot of things happened in the SEO world. More and more WSI is positioning themselves as a leader with adaptive SEO. And here's just a bit of a humor by Dilbert in regards to anybody trying to become an SEO expert, right? And as a result of this bad practices and just about anybody becoming an SEO expert, here are some 5 myths that we can talk about that people are actually thinking about out there. It's light in comedy, but you know what? There's a lot of truth. And as a matter of fact, the reason I chose this article was, from a sales perspective, how to rebuttal some of these myths that people have. So number 1, SEO is voodoo or bovine feces. Number 2, SEO is cheap. Audits are cheap. Build it and they will come. Position does not matter. And there's a bonus one, which is SEO is dead. So let's go dive into it. So the article talks a little bit about how people, or how bad SEO practitioners are leaving a bad mark in our industry, and as a result, sometimes clients think or prospects may think that SEO is voodoo or bovine feces, right? So we all get that one. However, in reality, the article talks about the fact that when you look at it, SEO is really a practice to optimize websites that is based on algorithms, and algorithms are math. So not only it's a linear sequential, but at the same time it means that you can test it, and you can test it against each other and test different types of SEO strategies, and different types of SEO strategies will yield different results. So the whole thing about it, that it is true, it's really based on an algorithm. Now you can say, well, you know what, my site hasn't performed in the last year when I hired an SEO company, so why hasn't it? Was it the right SEO company that you hired? Right, so I'm pretty sure many of the ICs get this question from prospects that are hurting, and they definitely think that SEO is bovine feces. So this article kind of talks a little bit about how to demystifying that to them, and clarifying to them or educating them on the proper way of SEO and how we take it a little bit to the next level, how we at WSI can definitely help them through our adaptive SEO or our advanced SEO strategies, right? So very important. The other one is SEO is cheap. People think that they got kind of used to having paying very low services for SEO. There's hundreds of companies that solicit them that will tell them, look, for $99 a month, you will be placed on the top on the first page for your keyword. We can do it very cheap. Well, we have to look at the fact that there's SEO services then versus SEO services today. Okay, that's one point. SEO services then, meaning 1 or 2 years ago, probably 2+ years ago, there wasn't any algorithms that happened, so it was a free-for-all. So by doing different black hat tactics, people could just get to the top of the search engines by doing different negative tactics. But however, today the SEO expert has to be very well versed, educated, up to date to what's happening. As a result, SEO services today require more time in regards to actual time developing the strategy, researching the strategy, as well as deliverables, right? Before, it could have been just all about link building strategy, perhaps, or just about content marketing, but today's a combination of link building, content marketing, keyword research. I mean, when you look at the adaptive SEO methodology, kind of highlights the different areas that have to happen from a technical perspective all the way up to a reporting perspective. It has changed a lot. So SEO services cannot be cheap. Number 2, if you get what you buy, so you cannot buy good service at a cheap price, because our industry, like I said, is changing. Every month there's something new that's happening in our industry that requires us to keep up to date. It requires resources to research, to find out what's happening. And also from your end, you have to keep your eye on the ball. You have to keep your eyes on your clients, because any changes that you make today you will see a reflection of those changes in 15 days or 30 days. So in reality, again, it's time and effort. It's not like before where, there was less time spent doing SEO, less effort spent, so therefore it was cheaper. Again, it's a myth. Number 3, I like this one very much. And I like this one specifically for those companies that have been penalized by Google, because not only are they in trouble, but they believe that audits are cheap. So again, we go back. Successful audits take time, not only the resources, expertise, different tools, and also different reviews. So why is that important? Because when you are looking at doing a successful SEO audit on a client, you want to make sure that you look at different angles, and you actually look at different tools and run your website in different tools, because different tools will give you different results. A link detox tool will provide you with a report that is totally different than Google Webmaster Tools, or it can provide you with some differences. Right? So it's always good to spend more time. Don't just rely on one tool, and don't, based on that tool, you spend only X amount of time. You probably have to double or triple your efforts in order to do an overall SEO audit on a client. So it definitely matters, because a bad audit can even hurt your clients or your prospect site even more. There are many companies out there that are doing free SEO audits on websites that have been penalized. I always caution ICs, it's better to do it properly. It's better to understand as much as possible the history of that website, and then, begin to work on it, spend the time and review it, because it does take time. And I know that some ICs are really good at that, at educating their clients, but again, it's not a cheap thing to do. Okay, so it's again, it will give you some tidbits of information on how to rebuttal that with your clients. Build it and they will come. We all know about that. If you're launching a new site that has been sitting there just generating content with no link plan, well, definitely, again, it's an old SEO practice where before people will say, well, content is king. Content is king, but you also have to add different components to make it successful. Link building strategy, social media to amplify that content. But if you're just saying, well, I'm just going to write content and hopefully they will come, again, you need a link building strategy tied to it. And it has to be a very good strategy, not just one where you're going after every directory or every local citation. It has to be properly done. And the last one is position does not matter. Again, I like the way the author used position versus ranking, because sometimes clients stress or overemphasize, or they go crazy on rankings, and the article just mentions the fact that yes, position is very important, whether you're on the first or second page or third page. It definitely is very key. However, pretty much don't get obsessed by position, because there's a lot of many other factors that you have to keep an eye on in order to continue to generate proper SEO for your clients. So again, it's an article by Search Engine Watch that you can definitely share with, well, we can definitely share with you, but at the same time you can use in your sales strategy. Okay, the next one is here we have 5 search ad copyright solutions for 2015. A little bit more on search, on AdWords and developing copy for search advertising. And this is again, this is actually from Search Engine Land, and the author starts talking about the 5 key things that you should be able to look at if your AdWords campaign is not working. Now, again, I know that many of the ICs do use a production center like ALM to do the AdWords, manage the AdWords. However, as an overall project owner, I would recommend that from time to time do spend some time doing a little bit of the reviews and making sure that some of these things are working properly. So I've also shared that with you. And in reality, sometimes you have to kind of roll up your sleeves and get in there, just because you may know a little bit more about the business than the production team, or you can do it work together. And here are things that 5 great recommendations that the author talks about. One of them is commit to your ad copy. Definitely, if you know that there are things happening in your campaign that are not working, create compelling ads and test them. Right? And test them for 45, 30 days. Don't just test them for 15 days or 10 days because it's not going to work. You have to give it a bit of time. So commit to your ad copy because you will see that that you will have some quick wins, and also you will start eliminating underperforming ads. So sometimes the best thing to do is, if things aren't working with your AdWords campaign, is just looking at your ads and seeing how those can be changed. And again, through trial and error and being tested, it can actually improve your performance. Number 2, throw the spaghetti at the wall. This is a little bit more collaborative work with your team. Schedule a brainstorming meeting and the goal is to generate 50 to 100 ideas. I know ICs don't have the time to do 100 ideas, but even 25 to 50 is very good, because you can come up with a lot of different ideas on how to position your clients' products, services online, and get creative, right? Some of the key things that they talk about is even knowing some of the common objections is very powerful. So, for example, your business is actually open seven days a week. And typically your industry only services Monday to Friday. So by just adding on one of the columns, open 7 days a week, or services 7 days, that can actually create a bit of a difference in your client's unique selling proposition, the fact that he's actually spending more time open for business. So this was actually a really good one. I'm going to be sharing that with you today, this article, because it definitely shares some light on creating successful copy. Again, think specifically about your USPs, your unique selling proposition. Definitely, what is it that can help your ads stand out from those of your competitors? And at the same time, what are those specific value propositions that you can incorporate in your ads, in your call to actions? So very important to do that, specifically with the fact that now you have Google AdWords has added different tools and extensions that you can showcase better your ads, and many times these aren't being used. So make sure that your team is using these additional extensions to better position your clients' AdWords ads. Now do something very different. Again, think outside the box. There's always a way to create new copy, different copy, unique copy. Test it out, and also keeping in mind the different ad components. So your headline, always change your headline. Your display URL changes, ad copy and description lines. There's so many ways that you can tweak and work on your ads in order to make them better. So this may be an activity that you do on your own if you're managing the accounts on your own, or you work in collaboration with your supplier. Okay, so that's a great. Okay, and another piece of news from Search Engine Watch, a great article on local SEO. I wanted to share that with you in regards to what are some of the best business practices for greater visibility at the local level. It seems that this is an area that many of the small companies, small medium-sized businesses, really focus is locally. So the author goes on and talks a little bit about the 5 key recommendations. One is think visibility, not ranking. So visibility is about controlling and dominating search real estate. And in this case, what he's talking about is really focusing not just on your organic search results, but also focus on how you can better optimize your Google Places. So you are shown on Google Places on the first set of results, whether it be 4 or 7, the top 4, top 7, as well as always complement your SEO, perhaps even with some PPC, to make sure that you have visibility on that first page. So you may have reached, let's say, organically a top 10 ranking. But if you're in spot number 5 and you have your competitors in 4, 3, 2, 1 organically, and they're also on 1, 2, 3, 4 in Google Places, and you're not to be seen on Google Places, again, you're just hidden amongst your competitors. But if you're thinking of visibility and thinking about the keywords, what are those? What are the keywords that I want or that I should be visible on the first page through organic, through Google Places, and even perhaps even through paid search, perhaps, right? You can actually gain an advantage. Number 2, Google Places for Business and Google Plus Local. This is, we're very strong at ALM in regards to Google Places and taking advantage of your audience. Anything that's a Google owned property, really optimizing it, whether it's the Google Plus community, YouTube followers, make sure that you're always keeping in place these Google related properties, and go even a step further and make it very easy for your clients, customers, to leave reviews, because many of your clients, customers are already browsing online, logged into their Google account. So for them to leave, whether it is to connect with YouTube or connect with the Google community, for them to leave a review is much easier. So very important. Number 3, get the basics right. So many times we go into a website that has been optimized by previous competitors or SEO companies, and they always forget to put a custom meta description. They may have a title tag added to the page, but they forget to put a custom meta description. They may have an actual meta description, which is the standard, but the key thing is to really customize your meta descriptions as well, right? For the specific keyword, the specific page. This is content that you want to be able to share on the organic search results. So customizing it, adding perhaps 1 or 2 call to actions to your meta description is very key, so you can stand out on amongst your competitors. And don't forget schema markup where applicable. In some cases, some industries, schema markup is not, you may just be able to put a basic schema markup, but if you're a restaurant or a bookstore, for example, there are specific schema markups that you can add that will help you get a competitive edge. Sorry. Number 4, citations. This is a very important one as well. Citations are still important. They're a trustworthy indicator. There was a whole buzz on citations about a year ago, a year and a half. Everybody wanted to do citations, and they became a bit of a craze, and then it died down. However, according to the author, based on his research, based on his experience, and even based on our experience, citations should be part of your link building strategy. As long as you're doing the proper name, address, postal code, NAP, that definitely has to be primarily very clean throughout your citation submission. So citations are still important at the local level. Make sure that that's put into place with your clients. And number 5, very key. Again, thinking a little bit about visibility, not rankings. Do your other properties rank? So if your client has a YouTube account, are they ranking? Where are they on their? Where are their videos? Are your clients' videos being optimized? Right? We've had great success with video optimization with some of the clients, and pretty much, we can say that some of those organic rankings are not just based on a page ranking, a website page ranking high, but it could also be a video that was optimized on YouTube that is ranking also high. So video optimization, very key in 2015. Social media properties, are those optimized? Your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Google Plus. These are also properties that you can optimize and can pretty much, if you do it properly for a specific keyword, you can pretty much rank high on those as well. You may not have the opportunity to, with social media properties, to optimize for multiple keywords, but I believe that if you choose the strongest keyword or maybe 1 or 2 keywords, you can definitely optimize your social media properties. And last but not least, Yelp and your other directory listings. The whole concept of barnacle SEO. If your client has a Yelp listing or any other local directory listings, why not develop a small link building strategy to aid those, to any strong or any backlinks to these directories, so you can further strengthen. I mean, the idea would be, the wish list would be that your client's ranking organically on first page, let's say top 3, right? Ideal would be 1, but let's say 1 or 2 or 3. Then they're ranking on Google Places, right? Top 3. Then basically one of their videos has been optimized, is ranking in, even if it's ranking on 9th spot, right? You have another property ranking in that one page, or let's say a social media property or a Yelp directory. So the whole thing is to really focus on greater visibility, not just focus on organic search per se, but look at the different components that can help you or can help your client really have that great visibility. Again, these are different tactics and strategies that can be implemented. It's nothing that is rocket science. It's just a matter of putting the time and effort and the strategy together. So I thought I'd share this with you, because sometimes we know that our clients are obsessed with just Google organic rankings, but there are other areas to win, low-hanging fruit that we can also implement in our SEO strategies. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Just 1 second. Oh yes, this is an interesting article by again by Search Engine Watch, and this was actually it was Amalia had shared it with me. Unfortunately, I don't know, for some reason I can't connect Amalia today into the call, but Pinterest is putting a very aggressive campaign in regards to attracting their male audience. Okay, now I'm actually going to share this article with you quickly, and I found it very useful. Just 1 second. I found it very useful because people or clients typically think of Pinterest as a very female-driven social media property, but as a matter of fact, what they're now doing is they're actually trying to focus a little bit more on trying to attract more males, because for the most part, Pinterest has been associated with DIY projects, wedding planning, recipes, and so on. It hasn't really been a very male-driven social media property. However, that's changing, and why are they changing this? Because they know that they want to be able to cast a wider net of advertising. So as you know, men for the most part will most likely prefer to watch a video versus static image. So these are some of the things that Pinterest are trying to attract more men by adding more images, more video capabilities into Pinterest, and basically be able to display more results that are male audience driven versus just females, right? In previous articles or webinars, we've talked a little bit about the fact that 71% of Pinterest 72.5 million visitors were female. So in reality, probably about 29% of users of Pinterest, according to ComScore, are male. So they're trying to do different things, making some subtle changes to their search functionality, doing some recommendations, focusing a little bit on perhaps even adding video, etc. Trying to make changes so Pinterest also becomes a male shared social media property. So very interesting that they're making this, because it's really important for them, for their overall strategy to develop this. So keep an eye on this. Something to come, so that way when Pinterest has developed some foolproof strategies to attract more of a male audience, you can definitely participate with your clients. Because sometimes I speak with ICs in regards to this opportunity with Pinterest, and they tell me right away, well, you know what, Pinterest typically female based, but you know what, keep an eye on it. It's changing now. It's definitely changing, and it's something to keep an eye on as well. Specifically, I would actually even recommend it for any client that's a contractor, any type of projects that they're working on, whether it's a plumber or a wall installer or a roofing company. I mean, just posting some of their pictures on Pinterest can definitely begin to populate their Pinterest account. And as more and more, and obviously you have to optimize it properly, but as more and more of their search functionality gets improved and usability shifts to more of a male target audience, they'll be very well positioned. So again, keep this in your things to do in 2015 with Pinterest. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. And they're making it very aggressive, so it's something to really keep an eye on. Okay, this was one of the things that Amalia was going to share with you, so I apologize. For some reason, I'm having some technical issues and wasn't able to bring on Amalia to the call. But as we all know, SMX happens every year, and it's that time of the year again to prepare for it. This time, they'll be doing. They're going to have a worldwide location conferences in 2015. But the next one that comes up is really the Search Marketing Expo on March the 3rd to the 5th in San Jose, California. I know they're also having a Seattle one. I believe it's in April or May. And for those ICs that are close in this area, definitely it's a great search marketing conference. You get to speak with, you get to hear top-level search marketeers as well, learn from them, as well as their roundtables, a lot of great discussions from different companies, as well as competition, see what the competition is doing, learn what they're doing, etc. And if you are planning on going, I mean, do start making your decision, and because I know that they were mentioning that it's some of these ones are pretty getting sold out. So try to see if you're in the area, you want to attend the Search Marketing Expo. Definitely a great place for learning and finding out what's happening from the experts. So we will try to keep you posted as well from our end based on the Search Marketing Conference post notes. But again, it's a great expo to attend. Okay. By no means do we are we getting paid by SMX to advertise, but we always think the best for the ICs, and this is one of those search marketing expos that are great to attend. I've spoken to ICs in the past that have attended, and they're always getting some good gold nuggets of information, not just best business practices, but some of the new innovative tools, resources that are out there that other marketeers, search engine marketeers, are using. So again, if you have the opportunity to go, definitely try to attend. Okay, this leads me to the case study of the week. This is a bit of an SEO case study, SEO/web design. Basically, this is, like I was saying, it's AndersonThermal.com. It's a manufacturer and supplier of infrared heaters and lamps for OEMs and end users. So it's a very specific industry, very targeted industry, and we've been working with them for approximately 5-6 months in a new campaign. Prior to that, we probably had about in total we've probably been working with them about 12 to 15 months together, and we had launched an initial campaign with them with their old website, and we decided about 5-6 months ago to really start planting the seed with the client to develop a new website. So it is part of an SEO website case study, and the key thing was that we weren't getting a lot of results with their previous keywords that were chosen by the client. In the first half or the first stage of their SEO campaign, we had hit a plateau. So we needed to look at something different, and part of that strategy was to refresh the new keyword list, look at that keyword list, see what other opportunities are out there, and seeing what would be good targeted traffic for the client. But in doing so, the client then gave us the go ahead to start a new fresh look for their website. They kind of wanted a better, easier to navigate, better organized a site with better organized content, and as a matter of fact, we actually wanted to write new content because the content that they had was very stale, it wasn't really marketable for the web. It was just informational, and we weren't getting a lot of traction from it. And the client, at the same time, in looking at their website, they wanted to have an easy to manage CMS. Joomla is a great CMS in my experience. The only challenge with it is the fact that you have to be a programmer to really understand it versus WordPress. So if you want to make a very client-friendly CMS, I would always go with WordPress, specifically with all the Joomla upgrades and challenges with Joomla. We at ALM are staying away from Joomla. It doesn't mean that we don't support it. It's not our favorite CMS because of all the issues that have happened in the past. So in this case, we actually moved them from their existing platform that we had inherited from the previous web company, Joomla, and we're going to look into a new solution. So again, new web design. We actually developed and I'm going to share the website in a second. We actually developed the CMS with WordPress, a bit more strong call to actions on the homepage, more strategic, a little bit more of conversion optimization. Mind you, the design, it's at the end of the day, it's also the client's choice. We probably develop different mock-ups, and they came back and pretty much sometimes just tore our design apart. But we got to an agreement. We compromised. And once we launched the new website, concurrently we took the initiative of also, like I said, refreshing their new keyword list. And if you look at it in month 2 on the right hand side, you'll see the month 2 results organically. I only showed Google Organics results, and you'll see that they were in page 3rd, second page. Here they were doing very well. Already in first page is some of the primary services they offer. So we didn't change everything. We kind of took a little bit of the ones that you see with the higher ranks are the ones we changed to try to spice things up, see different things. Add different keywords, like for example this one, fast response medium wave heaters. They were in the 7th page, right? So this was a new keyword that we added. So we kind of I think also IR industrial lamps was one of the keywords that we also added as well. They were in the 2nd page, so we wanted to add it to the mix and start optimizing for it. And again, in this case, there are 2 lessons to be learned. One of the lessons is that when you're optimizing for your client, and this is where I like SEMrush reports, because SEMrush gives you the top 20 keyword rankings for your website. So even though your initial SEO strategy is focusing on the top 10, meaning the keywords that are ranking on the first page, you also have another set of keywords that are in the 2nd page that in the future you can optimize. So always look for that for low-hanging fruit, because if you're beating your head because one of the keywords that you want to get to top 5, it's really struggling because it's highly competitive. Let it sit where it is. Let's say 6th or 7th spot. You let it sit there, and then maybe focus on a keyword that's on the 2nd page, and let's bring that up. Right? Sometimes that's the nature of the industry. So it's very competitive, and as much as you're trying to push, we don't know if the other companies ahead of you. First of all, sometimes some of these in some industries, this could be directories like Yelp and Kijiji sometimes, or Craigslist that are really ranking high, and because they're such massive websites. With a lot of SEO, you can't really compete to get to the top 3rd spot. But if sometimes look at your top 10 and 20 and see how you can lift those up, right? And in this case, we actually looked at all the way up to the 6th page, because this was a keyword, fast response medium wave heaters, that the client wanted to look at. So we kind of thought outside the box. The client, sometimes you want to kind of boost their confidence on their SEO strategy, so you have to be able to be creative. So in this case, we took a few keywords, additional keywords, we plugged them in, and you can see that in a matter of 5 months, again, they started ranking on the 1st page. Okay, again, it was a combination of refreshing your keyword list. Okay, number 1, a combination of also a new website that was launched, and also new content that we wrote. Sometimes, you have to look at the right strategy and the right components, right? It's not just saying, well, it was the new website that did it. No, that was one component, because we actually had to do some keyword research to make sure that we will be optimizing appropriately the appropriate pages for that specific keyword. And we also figured that the content that they had needed some revamping, and needed to focus more on the keywords that they had. So some of the lessons learned here is be open to switching up your keywords. And I do work with some of the SEs very closely, and I talk to them that if you're seeing your results stuck in after month 4 or month 5, number 1, do not do a whole 180. right? Like don't just scrap everything. Look at the keywords that are underperforming, and perhaps, you know what, go for your top 20 keywords. Find out the keywords that you can push, because there may be some quick wins there. Don't wait 12 months before switching keywords, because you know what, it's not gonna work. Okay, so number one, be open to switching up keywords. Keep that on your list for your clients, things to do, things to review. That's important. The other thing that I do recommend, and just give me a quick second, I'm going to try to see if I can show the website, is in this case, the client, they weren't really keen on doing responsive web design in the beginning, and we had approached them with that solution to do our responsive web design, and they actually, at that time, for budgetary purposes, they wanted to have a very a very easy, affordable website. So we kind of came up with this design, and we had pushed for the responsive web design, and they said no, 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 no. And well, here's a new website that's not responsive. Now, after the fact, that where Google is now really pushing on responsive as a ranking factor, and even after education with the client, and now the client is wanting to do responsive. But here's a bit of the kicker, just kind of going through some of the site. Very, trust me, the design, it was something that they wanted. Our initial design was a little bit different than this, but they kind of just wanted, they say, my target audience, they just, this is the type of websites they enjoy, they like. So we had to follow the client's wishes in this one. So I will tell you that even though it is not the greatest design, it's very straight to the point, very informational. We're getting some traction because it's working. From an SEO perspective, it's working. However, it's not responsive. So now we've further initiated discussions with the client to move the site to responsive, but it's going to cost more. So key advice, major gold nugget, make sure that when you develop a new website, it's responsive. Make it a must. As a matter of fact, I would even go and say, if your clients are thinking of doing a new website and they don't want to make it responsive because of the additional investment sometimes it requires, you know what, don't even do that project, because they're just wasting their money. Because at one point in time, they're going to have to make that website responsive. So even though we had shared that with the client, we weren't able to get our wish list. So again, let me just go back to the slide. So again, word of advice: try to always have RWD, responsive web design, be part of your initial project scope, as it is easier to implement the responsive component of the website throughout the build phase rather than after the build. So excellent. So this that's pretty much our case study. You all know about ALM. You know about our clients. I think I've kind of added a couple of new clients that we're working on. Also wanted to remind you that apart from the fact that we're Adaptive SEO certified, we're a HubSpot certified partner. If I know HubSpot is something totally new, inbound marketing methodology something totally new, or something that you haven't offered in the past, if you have questions or anything, feel free to let us know, and we can definitely assist you. So I'm just going to see if there's any questions around, and you can definitely let me know. Okay, here we have a couple of questions. Yes, definitely. I will send you that information to you. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Definitely. So I will send that information to you for you. Also, if you want to know more about the case study, just send us a quick email at armando@wsilm.com, or even amalia@wsilm.com, or info@wsilm.com, and we're morely glad to assist you there. So again, that's it for the webinar this morning. I hope to see you next week and bring you new exciting news. Well, have yourself a great week, lots of new clients and sales, and with this, we'll definitely be talking soon. Take care. Bye-bye.